Verzuz got busy over the weekend. You know, the old hip.
Shout out to Slade.
Yeah, shout out to the homie Slade. Says that he does that impression better than anybody of KRS-One, who Red August hates. He almost threw that can of biscuits at me. So Kane and KRS-One had their Verzuz battle, and it turned out to be more. I got the vibe of like just a celebration of hip hop. Like it wasn't a. I didn't hear them saying, you know, talking down on the next generation or doing nothing corny. It was just a.
Why would they do that, Michael?
I mean, you know, it happens sometimes. KRS-One don't care. Like he's one of the few people where I'd be like, he might come out and just diss everybody. You never know with him because he's always lit. My dude Nate Jeezy sent me a note from, or actually a post from DJ Scratch, and DJ Scratch showed the itinerary. KRS-One went completely off everything that was set up in terms of the itinerary, how it was supposed to come on and how it's supposed to start. I guess he just got, you know, the vibe.
Capri was wondering why he was getting bodied for a minute.
Bruh, they were going at it, man. But I like that they had the DJ aspect. They had the breakdancing aspect of it.
Elements.
The elements. Like
the
it was
they didn't have was somebody doing graffiti.
Bingo. So to me, it actually held my attention. And we've talked about Verzuz. We know Lone hates them.
Versus battles.
Yes. But this, and you could also, I don't know, Jay Moore, I'll come to you first. I know you saw it. You said after the fact, but some of that old Bronx and Brooklyn came out too. Like Kane, he said a couple slick things and, you know, talking about Shan and all that stuff back in the day. And it got a little heated for a little bit, but at the end, it ended up being, you know, us all love. It was just the competitive nature, but I thought it was a win, man. And I also thought it was dope to see artists that we grew up on, like Busta and, you know, Fat Joe, people like that. They were fans. They were,
Mad Lion.
Yeah, like
I mean, Mad Lion was there. So
he was there and he looked the same. I don't know how, but he looked the exact same. But
Juices and berries, man.
Juices and berries. But to see those guys be fans again was dope because Ninth Wonder was there. He went live. He was like, I have to go to see this. I thought the entire event was dope. The merch actually got me with the nostalgia. So kudos to them, man. I enjoyed watching it. I think it's one of the best ones they put on. Would you say the same, Jay Moore, or what were your takes on it?
You got to understand, I'm 44 years old. So
okay.
I remember seeing My Philosophy debut on Yo MTV Raps. I remember seeing Ain't No Half Stepping, you know, at 9 o'clock, you know, on Yo MTV Raps when it was only a 30-minute show once a week. And I was so into hip hop at that time, just in my infancy of really being into the culture, I would memorize the order of the videos because it would come on at 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
But then they'd run it again at 9 that night. And I knew, okay, these are the videos I want to tape on the family VCR. You know what I'm saying? Taking y'all back. You know, I enjoyed it because partially it's just another example, and even though they didn't talk about the young rappers, I'm going to talk about them. Here's another example. Here are two guys in their 50s who can get up on stage just by themselves, no backing tracks,
talk to them,
and just rhyme.
30-year-old rhymes.
You know, and the thing is, like, that's where a lot of times where I say I'm not impressed with newer hip hop, not because I don't think artistically it's where it needs to be, but it's because hip hop is about being able to perform in front of an audience. And here are two guys in their 50s reciting rhymes that are at least 30 years old.
Yeah, I just threw a number.
At least 30 years old.
They were teenagers when they came out.
Be out of breath and be able to kick it like their lives depended on it, even though they're already legends at this point. So yeah, I just enjoy that aspect because, like I said, we talked about it a few episodes ago about, like, you know, if you only have 2 hit songs and you can't memorize the words to those songs, then maybe this hip hop thing is not for you. So I'm gonna get off of talking bad about the younger generation and just talk about what I enjoyed about this particular situation. And first, on paper, it really looked like KRS-One washed. If you didn't watch, but then that's where the performance is so important.
Thank you.
There are a couple of places where I'm like, why did he play that? Why did he play? But I say that with every Verzuz. But when one of my favorite moments is when, you know, of course, you know about the battle between the Juice Crew and just the whole Bronx. the fact that Big Daddy Kane came out on stage and brought up Roxanne Shante and said, look, if it wasn't for Roxanne Shante, there wouldn't be a Biz Markie, rest in peace.
Facts.
And if it wasn't for Biz Markie, there would be no Big Daddy Kane. So, you know, the fact that like these guys said, look, we wouldn't be here for this woman if it weren't for this woman. I thought that was big for the culture because I don't think women get their props within hip hop ever, especially when we're talking about that early. Like they talk about Salt and Pepper, and then they act like, and then they give props to Queen Latifah, but they always leave out Roxanne Shante. I love that she got her movie, but at the same time, they don't talk about what she did to put these men on who eventually create, like, you know, because once again, if she doesn't do that, then there's no, then Big Daddy Kane doesn't look out for Jay-Z.
That was definitely a big moment.
So for me, that was a big moment.
Yeah,
that was
I
big,
agree
but
with that.
Once again, because I love the performance part of hip hop, you know, two dudes that can just get on stage with microphones and talk a little bit of ish back and forth, but still be able to be in their zone. I appreciate that because like I said, some of these verses, I'm like, all right, we should have kept this to 10 records maybe. And, you know, and then we could have all left. But once again, I'm 44 years old. So I have a different, when these guys were really, you know, coming into the game, this is when I was really just soaking up hip hop. And so it meant something different to me than probably if somebody who was like 25, they'd have been like, oh, these old guys, I remember that. Yeah, I heard my dad played that record, or like that sample comes from one of these songs, you know? So like I said, it's the first verses in a long time where I could say, yeah, not only was I excited for it, but I enjoyed it.
It held my attention.
So shout out to KRS-One. Shout out to Big Daddy. I hope the streams go crazy this week because they deserve it. And
they announced the tour as well. They're going to go on tour.
And once again, all you youngsters who think you can get out here and lip sync, you know, if you can't do it like these 50-year-old men showed you what it is to be a performer.
100%. And that was one of my biggest takeaways because we did talk about that. And to see these dudes go out there and just remember, you know, all those bars and still be able to perform them and had a crowd. Like KRS-One was doing joints where he'd say every other word and the whole crowd was finishing his sentence. Like everybody in there knew the records. Like it was just
But it was a lot of people there who were probably my age.
Yeah. I mean, the crowd fit. Like it was like 120 something in there on IG. And then you got to think about the venue. Like it had to be, I don't know, man.
Gonna be in New York.
Yeah, like it just works. Like it was a good vibe. I know Lone said he didn't get a chance to see it, and I think Terry, you said you didn't get to see it.
I had the chance.
Oh, sorry, you had the chance. Declined, right?
Yeah.
Terry said he hadn't gotten around to it. So since we're talking about verses, I'll ask you gentlemen this, and then we can go on to our next topic. One thing I noticed is that Busta goes to all of these. Like Busta's in the crowd, he's talking. And I had this argument or conversation with my dude, Nate Jeezy. And I told him, I don't think Busta is the one person that I would not want to do a versus against now that they have the performance element. Is that fair to say that like he pretty much it takes someone of a high tier to go against Busta when you think, I'm not talking records, I'm talking about records and performing them. Who, like, is there anybody that will be able to, you know, present their records better than him? I don't think so.
I've never seen Busta perform live, so I don't know.
Man, he's nuts. It's crazy.
So I mean,
I've seen him a handful of times. Busta is probably one of the best performers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like him and Flip Star. Flip Star doesn't get his credit.
Yeah, Spliff. Yeah, Spliff.
I mean, Spliff. I'm saying Flip. But Flip Squad is the greatest.
Yeah, Flip Mode.
It's all right.
I'm all over the place.
It's all right. It's all right, man. It's all right. You got friends. It's all right.
I do.
It's all right.
How many of us have them?
There you go.
But Busta Rhymes is one of the best performers I've literally ever seen. And when he was younger, he was climbing all over stuff. So he would climb up the light thing, and Spliff would be hyping him up the whole time. Yeah, so he goes off. But as far as verses is concerned, although I did not see the Big Daddy Kane KRS-One verses, I think it was a solid situation as far as putting that together for hip hop.
Yes,
because it's definitely the thing what people don't understand is hip hop. It's a young man's game, but it has grown.
Yeah.
And so these same people that were young when it first came out and were holding the torch back then are still going strong, and they're still literally touring this same music. That's why they're able to perform it at this caliber. And not to take anything away from the young cats that don't spit over or do spit over their own tracks.
Yeah.
You have older cats that are doing it too. I mean, we saw that with the Diplomats and Locks battle when the Locks were spitting theirs from the chest, you know, from their lungs, and the other ones, Dipset, were just rapping over the vocals.
So, but those dudes are in their 40s.
Yeah.
You know. So I'm saying if you're 19,
what's the name? Dipset and Locks are the same age.
Yeah.
I mean, Eminem, one of the greatest, he performs his shows. A lot of tracks have dubs behind it.
Yep.
Is it ad libs though, or is it the full track?
I mean, it depends. I mean, I wouldn't say the whole thing is the whole track, but
okay.
He definitely has some added energy.
I mean,
there in order to kind of.
What do you think?
I think I got somebody for Buster though.
You think you have somebody? Who?
If it's Buster.
Okay.
And he gets to have Spliff Star.
Okay.
Chuck D gets to have Flavor Flav.
Nah.
Have you ever seen Chuck D perform?
I've seen him perform, but I've seen, like I said, I've seen.
If we're talking about a performance,
I've seen both of them perform.
Nah.
And Busta Rhymes' performance and Chuck D's performance are not in the same league.
Are they gonna have like?
And that ain't taking nothing away from Chuck D. Chuck D is a pioneer in this game.
Facts.
He's great. But the energy that Busta Rhymes has, even in his lyrics,
it's different,
his flow,
man.
His presence is. I mean, his name is Busta Rhymes.
Yeah, and Chuck D gave him that name.
Yeah,
to tie it all together.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
I don't know, bro.
Russ
is tough.
And once again, it might be my age talking. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, shout out to Public Enemy. I get it. I ain't sleep, but I don't know, man.
Because I'm just thinking if Chuck can be out there with Flav. And
Flav is he's entertaining.
And then you know,
I need a big ass clock.
As much as I love Busta, it's a lot of but you know, when it's time for you to be able to hear every single word clear and concise, and you see something, and you see another 50-year-old man.
What you got, Long?
Running back and forth across the stage.
Busta will bring his energy down and spit it softly for you, so you can understand exactly what I'm telling you.
Facts.
And then turn it right back up on you.
What you about to say, Lon? I saw you. I saw you.
Just the same thing Terry's saying. Really, I feel like Busta Rhymes. He says a lot, and you can always tell what he's saying. He's very articulate with his
crispy
with his rhymes.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
maybe I'm just saying those are two of my, as far as
he might be decent,
two of my favorite performers. You know, I mean, as far as hip hop performers, it's Busta, Chuck D,
MC Hammer.
I'm not even gonna front. Yeah, MC Hammer.
Yeah. I see what you was doing, but we're gonna take Hammer.
And rest in peace, Heavy D. Those dudes put on shows.
Yeah, we're gonna take Hammer because Hammer's show. Say what you want. They had the 60 people and
look, even when he had to pare it down, when it was him and the two girls from Oaktown 357, let's get it started. Come on,
BNGB.
And act like you don't, and act like you didn't love it.
No, I'm with you, man.
I was with it.
I just think it's a win. It's a win for hip hop, and I was, it kept my attention because there have been a lot of verses where I'm like, I feel like Long right now. I'm cool, but this one kept my attention, and it felt like more of a celebration than giving flowers.
A lot of times when verses come on, I'm always busy doing something, so I usually gauge and kind of hear what people say about it and then watch it later anyway. I'm not somebody that's about to sit around and watch verses as soon as it premieres. Yeah. Unless I have absolutely nothing to do at that point in time.
When it hit during the pandemic, we had nothing else to do.
Exactly.
Right?
So now it's a little bit different.
Here's something that I did hear about verses.
Oh man.
So you do know they're having this competition to be like the official versus DJ.
It's $1 million prize.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And I've heard from some of my DJ friends who are good DJs that some of the contestants are extremely bad.
Yeah.
Really?
Like laughable bad.
Y'all better y'all better get in there. The homies better get in there.
Hey, man. Like somebody with skills isn't getting that bag, unfortunately.
So you saying it's gonna be politics over skills?
Man, I'm talking this one lady that was on there apparently got dragged
Oh, for real?
Religiously on Twitter for how bad
There's
she was.
video of it, or these just comments?
Shouts to 𝗏𝗏𝗏 because he tried to show me the video, but I couldn't find it, or he couldn't find the video of what was
it's
going
kind of
on.
like y'all. I don't know if y'all remember that DJ show. There was a DJ competition show at one point in time on VH1.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was somebody on there that was trash. And I dragged him, and he responded.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I'm just like, hey, that set was trash. You on
Sorry.
national TV. You want me to keep it real? Set was trash, and you are one of the contenders on this show. I know people that will bother you in your sleep.
I like how Terry was like, he just put him on notice to let him know why he was trash bashing him. You was on national TV, fam. Like, I can bet like you were trash on national TV.
I'm not the only person that thinks this.
Yeah.
It just plays to the fact that like it's this popularity culture,
Listen,
man. Like
It is.
If you go to Vegas and you look at the marquees and you look at the posters of people that are up,
Yeah.
it's all about the look, man.
Yeah.
You have to have this certain look and a certain stigma about yourself in order to really get this paper out here as a DJ.
And if
it has nothing to do with your skill set, because if it has something to do with your skill set, Jazzy Jeff will be out here cleaning the floor with everybody.
Right.
Not to say he's the best, but the fact that he doesn't have a residency in Vegas,
Man, I'm so glad you said that, man.
I mean,
he's
doing all right.
he's
but-
doing
Oh, no,
very
Jeff
good.
fine. He
But
fine.
I'm just saying,
Yeah, he
the
fine.
fact that he doesn't have a residency in
Right.
Vegas
I agree.
is crazy. But
I agree 100%.
it is what it is.
Yeah. I agree with that.
It's also about what they want to hear.
If
out
you're
there in
booking Vegas,
yeah.
let me know what I have to do to get a residency.
Mm.
Yeah, if Lone get a residency,
Play cocaine
we
music.
taking the show
I
on
can
the
do that.
road.
Oh, okay.
We taking the show on the road.
Okay.
Not that cocaine.
Not that, yeah.
You play that in Vegas, you might clear the floor.
Clear the floor to go talk to the white lady.
And
All right,
that's a
then,
great
yeah.
place to end this.
If you've enjoyed this segment of the New Old Heads podcast, make sure you join our live show every Tuesday from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/newoldheads. You can also catch playback of all of our shows on any podcast app and youtube.com/newoldheads network. And go to newoldheads.com/community to join our Discord.